Hey you guys, this is Orsi and this is going to be my 5th channel anniversary video and the tag that I'm creating right now, because recently there was a tag that was based on someone's deck, and I'm gonna link that one in the description or in the maybe the comments. I don't know which one is more visible below, which I participated in, and obviously I forgot the tag's name, that's why I'm not saying it, but it was just such a fun and creative way of, well, promote your own deck and, you know, get to, like, I don't know, make people like be more aware of the deck and just have a new way of looking at your own deck. I think that's why I liked it. I mean, when I was starting to think that, ooh, I want to make one for the Zombie Oracle, because the cards kind of feel like they are upside down, that they could be, you know, the keywords could be prompt for certain tags, and this is the tag, which the title is gonna have the hashtag, so if you want to join in, please do so. But also, before I start that, there's 15 prompts, so if you're not interested, just, you know, please know that I'm incredibly grateful for everybody who ever watched the video, whoever commented. Even if you didn't comment, doesn't matter, you guys make it fun for me to stay on YouTube. I mean, I'm here for 5 years now, and it's just incredible, because I wasn't sure if I will have more than 3 videos, but I have a lot now, and I still and again enjoy posting videos, and it's because of the community, because obviously I'm not making oh, look at this, I'm not making videos for myself, I'm making videos so other people can engage and I can just be part of the community. So a big, huge gratitude to you guys, and a huge virtual hug, because I honestly, I enjoy and I love everyone that I managed to get to know, and I hope that I will get to know even more people. So yeah, thank you so much for being part of my journey. And now let's get onto the tag, because like I said, I have 15 prompts, because there are so many cards, but I was, you know, like being good, and I stopped. Okay, so first one is the Brain Use It card, and this is going to be a deck that is a witty, and there were another contender for this one, the Housewives Tarot, but because this deck is based on the Zombie Oracle, and by the way, you don't have to have my deck in order to use this you know, tag. I will hopefully include a PDF with a picture of a card and the prompt, so if you want to just use that instead, you can do so. So I'm using the Zombie Tarot because this was part of the journey, and especially for deck creation. I think it's a very clever deck. I love the box as well, but I don't know, it has, it's cheeky as well, you know. It's not just witty, because I think readings make the readings that I get with them, the answers that I get are always clever, because of the artwork, because the artwork usually adds to the you know, to the answer, at least for me. As in, it's not it's not just what, you know, what the card means, like the Three of Swords. It's about the illustration, and here you're kind of someone is offering, or someone is taking a piece of your heart and eating it. But yeah, so for me, a witty deck is definitely the Zombie Tarot, which obviously was the companion deck that I created my Oracle for. Next one is New Values. This is from Utopia, because there was 2. Now you can get the whole deck with all 60 cards, but at first I had the Zombie Oracle. What was the first one? How did I call it? Ah yeah, it was just Apocalypse, okay. The second season was Utopia, because this deck is based on zombie TV shows, so it's not, you know, like zombies. Well, not really. But okay, so the second prompt with new values is a deck that introduced something new into your practice. And this can be, you know, like you can use any kind of decks, Lenormand, tarot, oracles, whatever, you know, floats your boat. And even though I'm not good at Lenormand yet, I'm gonna include Lenormand as a system because it's definitely something that I still struggle with. This is my little homemade deck, which I want to learn to read with, and I need to use this deck, even though I really want to get a really pretty Lenormand deck, because with Lenormand imagery is not important, and I really need to learn how to read just the cards and just the combinations and not the imagery. And I'm worried that if I get an illustrated one, even though I'm not sure, maybe if I see, you know, like I had the bear and the moon for my monthly, and looking at the bear and the moon, it makes sense to visually see that the bear, you know, like it's a big one, and the moon is obviously it's not clear things, and you know, you can combine things. But if I just put the two together, will it be enough? I don't know. I will need to, like, is this the same as an illustrated one? I don't know, but it's a new system for sure, so I'm gonna go with Lenormand for this prompt. The next one is community. And with this one, a deck that made you feel like you're part of the tarot community. Could be on YouTube, could be Instagram, could be Facebook, could be your real life, whatever. Which deck made you feel like you're part of the community? And I was thinking about, you know, like which one, because I remember there were a few back then when I started, or I was like a year old in YouTube years, but that, you know, like it really made me feel like, wow, everybody was talking about that deck and I had the deck too, so we were all talking about it, and it was a really nice feeling, but I couldn't remember which decks. I probably don't have those anymore. So I chose the Tarot Vintage because this is to this day my most watched video, and I remember that I got a lot of conversations out of this deck. And another thing is that this was the first deck that made me like the the RWS style, because I just don't like the original colors. Those are just not for me. And I always felt bad because I didn't like the RWS, because that's the base, that's the foundation that I'm building on, and why am I not liking it? But turns out it's just the colors. And this one I really like. And so it's two things. One, a video generated a lot of conversations for me about tarot, and I finally found a way to connect with the foundation of the way that I read, because I read mostly, if not currently, maybe only RWS based decks. The next one is learning, and in this deck, learning is, it's not just about learning something for the first time, but relearning it as well. So if you have a deck that made you relearn a tarot, that can be used here as well, but it's a deck that taught you the most. And for me, I think it's the Light Seers, because this is the deck that I use the most. So this and the combinations and the understanding of the certain cards and how they look and how they combine with each other is something that I learned from this deck. So definitely I learned how to read with others with this, because this is a deck that I often use to read with others, because they, even if they don't know tarot, they don't have a hard time connecting with the meaning. Like if I say, you know, like here's the sun, and the sun means long-term happiness and clarity, they can see that from the card. And just like the moon, oh, why is it, interesting, it's in order, these three, what are these three doing? And the moon, you know, the moon is obvious what it means, just like the star, that it's hope, it's there. The basic meaning that I usually try to explain to people is in the cards. So definitely a very beginners friendly deck, but also something that taught me a lot because I just used it the most. Next one is the Inside Thread, which in the deck is the zombie virus. It's and in this case it's a deck that points towards your blind spots. So something that you use, and then it makes it clear that you have a bias somewhere, because you know some decks are not particularly focusing on that, or at least for me I have decks like that. So for me, even though I'm not really using it these days, because our connection is kind of disrupted at the moment, I don't know why, is the Wild Unknown deck, and I have the pocket edition. But this is definitely something, it's a deck that the messages that I get are always calling out my bullshit. Like, I don't know why, I'm not, you know, when I looked at the images, I wasn't like, ooh, this is the deck that I'm so drawn to. It's not like that, but the messages, they are always like that, you know. I always get something out of it, like, oh, you shouldn't do this because you're doing something again you shouldn't do, and didn't I tell you time and time again that you should not supposed to do that? Those are the kind of readings that I get with this deck. So yeah, for me it's definitely the Wild Unknown. Next one, if we have Inside Thread, we have to have Outside Thread, and this is there's only 2 cards with zombies on them, because free zombie images are not as easy to find, especially when I was making the deck. But I think it looks nice, isn't it nice? Like they're coming and they want to get you. So this is a deck that highlights problems outside of your reach. So it's not something that you can easily solve, even if you haven't asked. So it's sort of like it gives you a warning about something that's not inside you. It's not your own blind spots, not your own inside problems. It's something that is outside. It's an outside factor, but you're not aware of it. And for me, that deck is the Dungeons and Dragons, which I use a lot for my daily pulls. I still hate that box, and I trimmed it. Because of the illustration, I think, and because of how it differs from the general depiction of certain cards, it definitely is something that I often find myself realizing certain elements of a situation, that okay, I'm doing my best here, or you know, I want to believe that a certain thing is happening, and then there's a card where like, okay, I'm not alone in the situation because I'm not living in a bubble, and other people or other circumstances that are part of the question have a say in certain things. And just because I want something to happen, for example, if it's not the best, it doesn't serve the highest good for everybody, it's probably not something that's gonna happen. And sometimes it's hard to hear, but this deck definitely makes it easy to at least recognize. It's a very good deck. I definitely recommend, even if you don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, which I'm not a pro at all. I think you can still use it. Next one is Chaos, one of my favorite cards. And this one is a deck that gives readings that are pure chaos. And what I mean is that you just have the cards on the table and they live their own. Like it kind of feels like that you're just like a spectator in a reading, in a good way, or in a bad way, depending on your experience. And for this one, I chose the Deviant Moon, which I absolutely love. But because of these creatures occupying the spaces on the cards, I always feel like that they are just bound, you know, in the limitation of the space that they are given on a card. But oh, they're definitely living their own life, and I kind of have a narration in my head when I use this deck. I don't know why, maybe it's just me, but for me it's definitely in a good way, because the readings are always clear, but in a sense, like, if I would let them, they would wreak havoc. These creatures could just, you know, like, get out of the card and just ruin my carefully crafted perception of the situation, so to speak, because they don't give a shit. That's probably the reason. They don't give a F about what I want or what I think is the best, or even what is the best. They're just like, you know, they have that na 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 attitude towards things. So yeah, it for me it gives chaos, but you know, you can interpret a chaotic reading in a different way. So if you have something else for the deck, I'm very happy to see that as well. The next one is Skill, if I can hold it. We know why I chose this one, I think. Even though the meaning is not what you would think. It's Skill, after all. It's about how you can, you know, in a situation where there's a zombie apocalypse, you need to learn new skills and you can adapt these. So that's why the prompt is a deck you feel you need to step up your game to use it. So, you know, it's not a deck that, of course, if you use it and you learn to master it, it will level you up, but in this case, it's a deck that you feel like you're not good enough for. And for me, it's definitely the Margareta Peterson Tarot. I get lovely readings from it, but I always feel like, because there's just like poems and stuff like that in the guidebook, that I just don't get half what's on the cards or what the meaning could be, because I'm just not good enough for this deck. And yeah, you can say that no, it's not true, but it is. I know I should work with it more, but at this stage I just don't even know how to approach that. So yeah, I definitely need to step up my game in order to figure out how to the star connect with. Oh look, I kind of like the message here. To connect with this deck, because I don't know why, but I really love this deck. Oh, look at that, one of my favorite Ace of Cups. But it's definitely something that if I do a reading with it, I love this one, I need to sit with it for quite a lot of time, and I still won't get everything that the deck wants to tell me. The next one is the P.O.V, a deck that makes you look at the problem from a different angle. And this could be also like interpreted in different ways, so I'm looking forward to seeing your choices. But for me, I chose the Spacious Tarot, and I have the extension deck, because it kind of feels like, not with every card, because it's not a Tarot of Oneness type of deck, but, and I'm not even saying that for me it works, because it gives me space to you know, like do pathwork or just step into the card, because I don't do that. I like the objectivity that I get with putting my problems in front of me and looking at them from a distance. But the spacious tarot, kind of what it does for me is changing the point of view, because it focuses on a segment of a bigger picture, I think. I don't know how else to explain it, because you know, there's a lake, like I can feel the vastness of the lake even if I just see this small piece of it. And because of that, it's kind of work like pathwork, which I don't often do, to be honest. I'm not really good with that, but it still opens a new way of looking at, a more simple way of looking at readings, because there's not a busy artwork. But for example, if the Hermit and the Devil comes out, you can actually see how the Hermit's light would light things in the Devil's forest. So you could actually finally move away from that feeling. And I really love the cardstock, by the way. So it's one point, you know, bringing me closer, but also opening me up to a bigger meaning behind whatever is going on. So I think for me this works well, because in a sense that it highlights the bigger reasons of why certain things are happening in my life. So it's not just the immediate whatever issue or why it's happening, but the long term or higher like reasons for why I'm going through something, if this makes sense. The next one is the Sign, and the Sign is a deck that is full of signs and symbols, and it doesn't have to be a deck that everybody can look at and be like, oh yeah, it's full of symbols, because it's like a really busy deck. But something that gives you signs that you often like see something in the cards, and then you recognize that in real life. So something like that. And for me, it's the Raven's Prophecy. I don't often use this deck. That's why it's on my desk currently, so I can change that. But I think because of the book as well, I see a lot of symbolisms in these cards, because I know what the story is here. And maybe I'm noticing things in books, in other things that I'm reading, more so when I use this deck. But also, you know, outside of written word in the real life, I definitely, I'm not saying I found like antlers or something like that, because I don't live somewhere like that. But for example, 3 flowers, when I do a reading with the 3 of coins or 3 of cups or whatever, I found these flowers in, you know, in the wild after a while after doing the readings. So yeah, for me this one is definitely full of symbols and signs because of that. Next one is Clarity, another favorite. I mean the card. And this one is a deck that gives clear answers. It's not rocket science. And for me, I went with an oracle, because honestly, the Wisdom is the Oracle is the most Lenormandy deck that I have. Because honestly, if I have an issue, it's just like gives me exactly what I need to know about. If I feel tired, it tells me to rest. If I feel confused, it tells me to make a list, get some clarity. If I feel like I'm struggling to open up, it tells me why I'm struggling to open up, that I'm going through, for example, some regeneration or transformation, or it tells me to read. you know, when I pull it in, I pulled it for relationship readings, and it was like the not everything glitters or whatever the card is called, and it was, you know, or serendipity upside down, reversed, because it means that it's not that. So yeah, I'm looking for the card, but I'm not finding it. It gives clear answers, so that's why I'm always recommending this deck to new oracle deck users, because it's a clear one. You get clear messages and you get clear answers to your everyday problems. It doesn't have to be like a big life issue. If it's just like, hey, I'm feeling really shitty, why? And then you're like, because you're not, you know, like where you're supposed to be or something like that. It gives you like practical solutions. So that's why I feel like this is the most Lenormand deck that I have, besides my Lenormand deck. Next one is Denial, which is a river in Egypt. But also a deck that you like to use even though you don't understand half of the answers you get from it, because you love the deck and you want to use it. And that would be the like the Margaret Peterson deck that I mentioned, but I also have another one, and that's the Ephemer deck. It's an absolute gorgeous deck, but because of the majors being redone, renamed, everything, I need to like use the guidebook, and which I don't like. No, I don't really necessarily like to do that, but I need to, because the meanings are not clear immediately with certain cards, but I really do appreciate the minors. So, you know, it's because of that, but it's so beautiful that of course I want to use it. So of course I'm using it, and then either I'm just winging the meaning and then I'm getting what I'm getting from the artwork, or I'm actually checking the guidebook and I'm like, okay, is this the Magician? Or is it something else, you know? Look at that Three of Pentacles. Oh, I love this Two of Swords. Such an interesting one. So yeah, this would be the Ephemer deck, which is a lovely, beautiful deck. Next one, and we're almost done, is the Treat. And this is a deck that you got yourself as a gift, or you know, you treated yourself with it. It doesn't have to be any reason. You don't have to share the reason if you don't want to, but I'm curious. And for me, the latest one, because I often do this, is the Todd Alcott's Sci-Fi Tarot, which I haven't posted a first impression or a flip through yet, because I haven't had the time to film one. But I got this one because I managed to finish the second semester of university. I love it. I think it looks wonderful. It wasn't what I had in mind when I was looking for a sci-fi deck, but Gerald mentioned it in a live stream we did together, or maybe I just did it alone and he just mentioned it in the comments. I can't remember anymore, but I know it was Gerald. And I made a note, and then I was like, oh, I'm interested, but I was like, maybe not. But then it came back, and I absolutely love that I got it, because it's a really good deck. I'm using it for my weekly readings currently, so at least my first impression will have some actual experience with it. So yeah, this is a really cool deck, and I'm really glad that I got it. Next one is Having Fun, just like a child could. And this is a deck that puts a smile on your face when you use it. And it's not gonna be a really big surprise, because you know my relationship with the Smoke, Ash and Embers, which I kind of screwed with me, how do you say that? I screwed myself over because I'm using this deck for my yearly reading, which means that I put cards in an envelope and they are part of my monthly reading. The full is for August if you're interested, but it also means that I have an incomplete deck and I cannot use it for a whole year, and I was not thinking that one through when I selected the decks, because I was just like, which one I want to be included in my monthly reading, and I was like, oh, I love this deck, so of course I'm gonna include it, and then now I cannot use it for a year. So maybe I need another one. Maybe I should get the new box edition just for that, because if you don't know, Stephanie changed the box design and the backs of the cards. These are still available, I think. There are some leftovers for the original ones, but once they are gone, they are gone. Look at that. Look at that. But I really love the new ones, and I'm getting that for sure at some point. And maybe this is how I'm gonna actually use them for next year, because I will have multiple copies. I can see a solution now. Oh, let's see, what was this one? Ooh, Queen of Cups, okay. But yeah, absolutely love this deck. I miss it, but I'm always really happy to see it when it shows up in my monthly. But I do miss using it, and it definitely makes me smile like an idiot, because I'm just loving, you know, all the beautiful little dragons. And the last one is Real Peace, which you get after all the zombies are dead. Is a deck that calms you down, and I tried to pick something else, but how could I? It's the Oak, Ash and Thorn, just to stay with the theme. And mine is getting, you know, like used and yellow and dirty, which I absolutely adore, because it means that I'm using the deck a lot, and it's a comfort deck for sure. I love it. I'm so glad that I got this deck, because I was going back and forth back then. Back and forth. Like, do I need this? Do I need this? I'm not really an animal deck person, but back then I didn't really have animal decks, so I was like, oh, maybe I need one. And I'm just so glad, because it's such a comfort deck. If I need a reading, I need help, but I can't handle being like yelled at, then this is the deck that I'm pulling cards from, because it's gonna gently tell me what's the problem, and it's not gonna be like because I kind of like, I don't know, I can see a trend in tarot readings online posted on YouTube, not naming names, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just, for me, it's weird that a lot of people seem to enjoy readings because they are getting more and more popular, the readers, where readers are kind of yelling at you, like, you know, like, I don't know why people really enjoy that style, but it's not me. I don't want to be yelled at. I know that I make mistakes, I'm completely aware. I'm not oblivious to that, but, you know, I don't want to be yelled at. But a lot of people enjoy that, so it's kind of very weird, at least, you know, just a sidetrack. But yeah, this is my comfort deck. It gives me actual peace, and if I'm, you know, like anxious, or I'm just sad, I'm not feeling good, and I need some peace, then I'm definitely using this one. So this was it. I hope you like the prompts, and I hope you will participate. Please either use the hashtag that I will for sure come up with by the time this video is posted, or comment down below and tell me that you have a response, because I really want to see if anyone is, you know, like participating. Tony said she would, so if just the two of us, Tony, I'm still enjoying your prompts as well. But yeah, again, thank you so much for being here in the last 5 years, and hope to see you in the upcoming ones. But yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.